finally found out who sent them to me. I was like asking who sent them, and then Mason's dad messaged me. I hope you like the glass. I was like, man, thank you so much. How's he doing? I think pretty good.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on
Considering.
BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on a Wednesday? Happy Hump Day. It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. We're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, broadcasting on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, the BamaCentral Facebook page. You're listening to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We're going to have a lot of fun today with our friend Theo Fernandez, covering all things Alabama sports for BamaCentral.com. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez __ on the Twitter machine. We're going to have a lot of fun today talking about Alabama football as we spent a little bit of time in the Malmore Athletic Facility yesterday. We're ready. We're ready for A-Day right now today. We're ready to put on the pads and get out there, practice some fundamentals, blocking and tackling after hanging out with Kalen DeBoer yesterday. So we'll talk about what we heard from him and kind of what our vibes are from early spring practice. We'll move into a little college basketball. Alabama, I'm brokenhearted. Missed out on Caleb Holt as Caleb Holt committed to the Arizona Wildcats yesterday. We'll talk about that commitment and the reaction, the absurd reaction afterwards. The SEC tournament begins today, and I'm so excited. They're in Nashville, so Bridgestone Arena hosts LSU in Kentucky at 11:30. We will start our SEC tournament coverage by just talking about the games today and talking about Alabama's draw. We'll hear from Nate Oates at 12:30 on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. You can check that out. So we'll talk basketball as well. And of course, Theo was out at Sewell Thomas Stadium watching Alabama baseball take care of the Troy Trojans. So we'll hear his report on that. And I believe there's Samford, another midweek game, right? Or,
no, we're right on to Kentucky.
No more midweek. All right, I thought it was 2 this week.
No.
Was there one and it got canceled?
No, I think we're down to just one. I don't think we have a double midweek on the schedule.
All right,
forward. Those are just in the non-con usually.
I just made that up actually. So Theo will tell us about last night's Troy game and where we stand just briefly on the Kentucky series ahead. But so that sounds like a plan, Theo.
That sounds like a great plan.
Reminder, we're brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. You visit Purple Turtle Roofing at roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs. You can check out their products and services right there at roofturtle.com. You can call them if you want to talk to a human at 877-787-6635. Schedule your free roof appointment today, roof inspection. Today, they'll come out and check out your roof. Make sure that you have the peace of mind that you deserve in your home. You don't have to live just in Tuscaloosa. You can live in the entire state of Alabama and really the whole Southeast. Purple Turtle Roofing will take care of you. So call them today, 877-787-6635, or visit them online at roofturtle.com.
Hey, tornado season, they're doing a survey right now to see if we got a tornado on Monday night.
Okay.
Saying that the storms may have actually qualified as a tornado touching down. So you got to be ready for those roofs, right?
Well, I was watching the Georgia Southern game on Monday night because they were trying to win their 6th game in 6 days. I was trying to support Charlie Henry, and across the TV screen saying emergency alert, and I was like, what in the heck? And I did about 2 minutes of research, and I said, we're in a tornado warning right now. And so thankfully, at least nothing in my area, and I haven't heard of any major damage or problems, but we hope that you endured the Monday night storm A-OK and you weathered it very well. But absolutely, that's why you need to check out roofturtle.com to make sure that you're ready. Look, the storm season is right upon us. It's here now. So make sure that you have the peace of mind that you deserve in your home. Theo, you got peace of mind? You doing good this morning? You having a great day?
I'm doing great.
I love the Rose Bowl hat.
I wear this a little too much.
No, you don't.
Or a farm in the hat too much, and it gets a ton of questions. And it's an awesome thing to wear. I will be very, very upset if something ever happens to this hat.
Well, let's just get that away. Something will happen to it. Hopefully, it won't happen to it for like 15 years. Yeah. But that's just inevitable with clothes.
It can't happen until I cover another Rose Bowl.
Until you re-up.
Something else.
Okay, absolutely. Until you re-up. Well, let's get started, Theo. Let's start with some football. Alabama football had second day of spring practice yesterday. They are going to be they're off today. They're back at practice tomorrow on Thursday. We will be there. I have a little practice viewing 9:15 tomorrow morning. You'll be able to see all those highlights and videos on BamaCentral's YouTube channel. I know I'll be there. Pretty sure Katie and Hunter. I'm pretty sure Theo might be there as well. So we'll have 4 different camera sets. You know how we do it, Theo. It's 1.5 minute clips, 1 to 2 minute clips, basically. And I'll string together all your clips and I'll put them on YouTube. So we'll have 4 different clips, and you're aiming for about 10 to 15 minutes to about 8 to 12 minutes of video that I string together. And so we'll have about 4 8 to 12 minute videos of different perspectives from practice.
It'll be a fun time. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to see these guys in action.
Yeah, I am too. Sounds like started off well. Hung out with Kalen DeBoer yesterday. Was there anything that you took away from those 17 minutes in the Hank Crisp indoor facility?
Not much, but I will say I think we got a little bit interesting on the front seven defensively.
Yes, go ahead.
That is where I would say. So first of all, Katie Wyndham's cover for this morning was about Caleb Woodson, about how he is I think captain type guy was the quote that DeBoer used.
Mm-hmm.
His role, how he's instantly just plugged in as a leader. And then what I wrote about was just how much versatility it looks like there's going to be with the Wolves and the Bandits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that we always see, I did a little bit of research on Womack's defenses back at South Alabama too. Like, there's always some level of versatility with these guys, and guys playing, well, this guy's technically a Wolf, but he's doing a lot of Bandit things. And even if they're not fully switching roles, even if he's not fully playing Bandit, like, you see the crossover. I think we're going to see that kind of on steroids this year. I think we're going to see Yanze especially do a bit of everything, playing some traditional linebacker, playing some pure, okay, I'm going to go kill the quarterback right now. I think that with the guys that, I think Alabama was really deliberate about the guys that were brought in with the goal of, hey, you guys are not necessarily going to have a set role right away. We don't know where you're going to end up, but we want to make sure that you're able to do a little bit of everything. You're going to play inside. You're going to play out. You're going to drop that. Like, I think it is going to be a very unique season for these linebackers.
Yeah, I think Coach Moore gave it away a little bit yesterday and thank God Charlie Potter was right there asking about the Bandits, and literally that was the next thing that was about to come out of my brain. I was sitting there, we're firing them off, and I'm like, well, somebody's got to ask about the Bandits, and I'm like, well, let me get the next one in, and I go, and Charlie was asking the same question. All right, great, you got it, same question. He gave it away. I think you're going to see Yanze Pierre play Bandit on third downs. At least this is in the spring. We're 178 days away from kickoff.
Right,
Things are going to change, but I think the plan is to play Yanze Pierre on first and second down at Wolf, and then kick him to Bandit, kick him down on the line on third and on passing down situations, and throw Justin Hill out there at the Wolf so that you have both pass rushers on the field at the same time. And then you look at the 3 technique in the defensive tackle and you say, who's my best 2 pass rushing interior defensive linemen? It's London Simmons and who? It's London Simmons and Desmond Umeazulu, or it's London Simmons and Devin Tompkins. It's probably Devin Tompkins, but I think that's what you'll end up seeing on pass rushing downs, whereas on first and second down, you're probably going to end up playing Devin Tompkins at Bandit, or Jamarian Latham at Bandit. You're going to play one of these heavier set guys at Bandit on these first and second downs. And then when it becomes pass rushing situations, you see personnel packages kind of changing. And Yanze Pierre shows his versatility. And you get Justin Hill on the field as well. Because you're not going to be able to keep Justin Hill off the field this year in pass rushing situations. And you don't really have a pass rushing Bandit that looks like that you're excited about. And yeah, you said they were intentional with who they got in the portal because of this. I think that you're right. I think you look at most of the portal guys and you're either a 3 technique or a Bandit. You could play both, or you are a a linebacker, inside linebacker, Caleb Wilson, or you might be a pass rushing kind of dime set, big safety type. I think that there's a lot of versatility on this defense, and I think that gives Kane Womack a lot of flexibility with how he wants to attack offenses.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, you look at that, the unit as a whole, and I'm really, I guess most of us won't be getting to speak with Kane Womack and the defensive guys because we will be in Nashville. So I don't know.
Friday's going to be weird. Go ahead.
Friday will be weird. So I don't know how we're going to get that content, if anyone will, but I think that's something that I'm really curious to hear what Kane has to say. And I'm also really curious to hear what, like, I'm sure Janze will be one of the first crop of players brought out, right? Like, I'm very interested to see what he says about these new guys. And I honestly think that's one of the areas where we're going to get the most. Like, you talk about, okay, where are we going to get real substance, not just fluff? That's one of the biggest areas where I think there's a lot to learn and a lot that we can learn right now. I think the other thing, I'm somewhat, I don't know if this was known for sure that Latham would be out for the spring or not, but he will be out for the spring. And I guess, are you worried about, will this guy be good to go for the season? You are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I want to see him cleared sooner rather than later. If he's not cleared sooner rather than later, I mean, I'm not worried about his ability to play Bandit if he's healthy. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, is he going to be cleared to play with enough time to
be a real part of this?
Right. Is he going to be cleared with enough time to make himself physically ready to, are you ready to take contact? Are you gaining weight? Are you in playing shape? Like what's his what's his cardio? What's his conditioning like? I have no idea. Now I'm sure that he's, riding the bike and doing all the stuff in the weight room, that sort of thing. But it's different when you put on pads. I want him to get some reps and actually play some football, because I believe the last time he played football, he endured a pretty difficult neck injury.
Yes, that is what I believe too, and it is like, we did a whole segment on him, right, when he was, announced that he was coming back, and he would do so much for this team, right? As far as, hey, here's a guy with all the experience you're ever going to want. Here's a guy who's obviously a leader in the room, and also a guy who's just a good football player out there. Well, I mean, I guess we're kind of in jeopardy a little bit on, you're going to get this last season. It's great to have him back on the team. What is it going to look like for this guy who hasn't, unfortunately, played football in 365 days, or however long the number is going to be when he first sees the field?
Well, I'm not expecting any sort of, let's say he's cleared today.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting any sort of 10-sack season. I'm not expecting really even a 5-sack season. I'm expecting him to be a C-plus solid player, a player that isn't standing out on the defense, but isn't standing out on the defense because he's a star, and isn't standing out on the defense because he's a bum either. Because look at this one player, he's amazing, you got a game plan for him, he's amazing. Or look at this one player, he's horrible, he's going to get picked on. I don't think he's in either of those categories if he returns. I think he returns and gives you what's the kid that went to Ole Miss? The bandit that went to Ole Miss. Out of Texas, Jordan Renaud. Renaud gives you Jordan Renaud type vibes.
I was thinking Kelby Collins. I was like, no, that's not.
Kelby went to South Carolina. Same little deal. I think he's exactly like those guys. I think he is a fine player, but is he a superstar that the other team's going to have to game plan for? No. Is he a bum that the other team's going to be picking on? No. But you do want him cleared, and you do want him active because of the depth factor. If you don't have him, you're looking at, I think, Desmond Umeazulu. I think you got Kamarion Johnson, the true freshman. You're looking at Devin Tompkins as well, the transfer from Southern California. So you've got several guys. Like you want him in there because he gives you this guy's actually played college football before.
Yeah, I agree with that, and what it would provide for this team. I guess I look at that room overall, right? And you've got a lot of new pieces. You've got so much production you're replacing. We talked about the inside linebackers yesterday, and we may as well group those guys in because we talked about, you're replacing your top 3 players there. You're replacing Tim Keenan. You're replacing the guys who transferred out. You're replacing LT Overton. You're replacing Deontay Lawson, linebackers, obviously. Like, what is this going to look like? And also, I wonder how confident do they feel that there are clear front runners right now versus how much is it going to be, okay, who's going to go out and win themselves this spot? I wonder how it's kind of set, if we are set in stone at all, or if it's pure, well, we don't really know what we got, but we want to see how you guys play.
I think in the spring, it's a lot of that. In the spring, especially in the front seven, where you have so many guys that could play or could not play. You've got a lot of candidates for a lot of these positions. I think they're going to be given. I think the goal in the spring is to get as many reps with these candidates as possible to figure out who's who and what they can be in the fall.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with. Was there anything else?
Yes, there was something else.
What was it?
I want to ask you if you believe this.
Okay.
Do you believe it? Like what Coach DeBoer said about the quarterbacks. Nick Kelly, AL.com, right off rip. How the quarterbacks looking?
Oh, they're light years ahead.
Exactly.
Years ahead.
You can tell they've had a number of reps. This is the quote. You can tell they've had a number of reps from last year under their belt, playing with confidence, calling play in the huddle with confidence. Both of them are light years ahead of where they were a year ago, obviously, and they should be. The talent level, as far as that's concerned, it's not a question. It's just a matter of them in the building rapport with their skill around them, making the throws when they're there, feeling the timing and trust, and just feeling comfortable in the pocket. That just comes with time, feeling comfortable with your offensive line, doing the job up front. I like what they've done through two practices. I like what they've done through two practices, created some good explosives on their end, good feel, working with the mobility when they have to. That's part of football, too. It forces some scramble drills, some things like that. When that does come up, that helps our defense as well. So I think they're really putting a lot of pressure on our defense. Our defense is doing the same to them. Do you believe it?
Well, I don't see any reason not to believe that. I mean, I would be really concerned if these guys weren't light years ahead of where they were a year ago, right? I mean, you've had a whole year. You've gone through this system. You both got in-game reps last season. You worked right alongside Ty Simpson, and we heard all this stuff all year about how, oh, yeah, like they just keep impressing in their development. Like we did a whole post-game presser after the ULM game and the Wisconsin games that were basically, oh, tell us about these guys, right? Like I would be really concerned if the answer was anything other than that. So no, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you're not surprised, but do you believe it? Do you believe they're light years ahead of where they were last year? Yeah, I mean, we're not surprised that that's Coach DeBoer's comment because, of course, he's going to back his guys and build them up in the public. But do you believe that that's what DeBoer is seeing out there? And he's like, wow, these guys are a lot better than last year.
Do you not believe it?
I mean, I do believe it.
Like,
but I think there's a little there's a little bit of exaggeration. There's a little bit of gray area. There's a little bit of when you say they're light years ahead of some. When look, am I? We've been doing this podcast thing for a couple of years now. Am I light years ahead of where I was last year? I don't know about that. Am I light years ahead of my first year? Yes.
Yeah, I'd say I'm 1 year into coming on this podcast.
Right,
now.
right.
I started last March. I would
Light
say
years.
I'm light years ahead of where I was when I started.
Wow.
When I started, I was like, I'd walk out every show thinking, well, that's probably my last Monday on here. And now, I don't live in day-to-day fear of, oh man, I'm going to get thrown off the program. You would hope that guys early in their career without the experience would, after 1 year of being with a football team, be light years ahead of where they started.
You would hope.
I don't, obviously, yeah, you got the coach speak in there, like, oh, they're like, their defense is challenging them. They're challenging the defense. I think they are probably light years ahead of, DeBoer would always say, right? What was the statement? If the season started right now, Ty would play the football game. Like that was kind of the regular take. He's not saying that they're light years ahead of what the product was in the fall.
Okay.
He's saying that when they first were in this, QB battle, if you want to, the three-way, who's going to be the starter. The versions of them now are better than the versions of them a year ago. It's not a ridiculous statement at all. I don't doubt it at all.
It's not ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. But I want to take you there, and I want to ask you. I want to take you back to yesterday. So if they are better, if they're light years better than they were last year,
yeah,
doesn't that mean that you're good at quarterback and you're set? Whoever's playing, and obviously they still need to take improvement, take steps through the spring, and be more comfortable. And as he said, gain rapport and all that stuff. But doesn't that mean that you're probably set at quarterback no matter who you're playing, and that maybe makes some of these other position battles more important?
Well, okay, yeah. I see that argument. I guess a lot of it comes down to how close were either of those guys to winning the job over Ty Simpson. I don't think all that close, right? So I think, yeah, you're light years ahead of where you were a year ago. Where you were a year ago, maybe I think that's what was exaggerated. I think a year ago, everyone was going out and saying, oh, like, man, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, one of these guys could come in and win the job. When in reality, like, we're saying they're here and they're down here. So light years ahead, now maybe you're up to here. So I don't necessarily think it means that, I don't know. Like, I wonder, like, if we took these two guys right now and teleported them a year ago, how ahead is light years ahead? Is light years ahead enough to beat Ty Simpson? I have no way of knowing. I don't think we have any way of measuring that.
No, we don't. But that's a really good thought. I wonder if Keelan or Austin beats him out. I think they both have a good shot at it.
Yeah, I do too. I don't. I still enough. That's a take I can give a day into. After one.
Well, sure. I mean, they haven't put on full pads yet, so it's basically just been walkthroughs, drills. Install, that sort of thing. They're installing a lot of plays. So there hasn't been a whole lot of live fire, but I'm just trying to see how everybody's feeling about the quarterback position. It sounds like Coach, it sounds like from DeBoer, they're feeling good. They're ready. They're excited.
And I hate to say it, but like, this is the most profound statement on them we're gonna get. Right, we're gonna get the first statement from Grubb tomorrow about them that we can kind of react to, right? And then it's all settled in, like, oh yeah, they were good today. They made good throws, and this is a bigger statement than I thought we'd get on them day one. Light years ahead is a big term. You don't use that unless you have some level of, I'm a little impressed by these guys. So
I think you're feeling pretty good about what you got in that room right now.
I agree,
but I think you got a lot of question marks in a lot of other areas. One other thing that really stood out to me, he had comments on the offensive line. He had pretty vanilla comments. I asked him about Racing Delgatti, and he was, he's gotten stronger since he's been here. He's doing the right things. Great. Basically said it's too early to tell because they're not wearing pads yet, and they're not pushing people around. But to the offensive line, the comment that stood out to me that I thought, okay, we can take that and piggy bank it, was one of the reporters. I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry that I can't give you credit, sir or ma'am, but asked about playing different positions. Because you look at these offensive linemen, a lot of them that you brought in are, he could be a center or a guard. He could be a left or a right tackle. He could be a guard or a tackle. You look at a lot of these offensive linemen, and they've got position versatility. But DeBoer insinuated yesterday that they were going to kind of all put them in a spot. You're a guard, you're a center, you're a tackle, you're a left guard, you're a right guard, you're a right tackle, you're left tackle. He insinuated that they're going to put them in a spot and basically try to develop them in that spot and see if they can find some cohesion, find a unit for 2026. Theo, do you like that approach over what we maybe saw last year with William Sanders playing guard, playing tackle, playing center? You had a lot of people going a lot. Gino Vandermark playing all three interior spot. I mean, it was wild. Wilkin going to right guard to right tackle, back to right guard. Michael Carroll, is he a right guard or is he a tackle? All the versatility. Do you like what sounds like is a small adjustment in the offensive line approach?
Mixed feelings, because you always want versatility on the line. You always want, hypothetically, a player like Vandermark who you'd say, this guy can go and play C-level football at any of these three positions, right? If we need to plug and play. C-level might be a little generous.
No, that's about right. But
you think that's about right?
Yeah, it just wasn't good.
Right, but you had the option. And I think the reaction to doing something that removes you from the offensive line play a year ago should probably be positive. And then the other thing is, okay, who's installing this decision? Is this Coach Clem? This is how I want my linemen to operate? Because if it is, it's like, yeah, it's hard to argue with it. Yeah, you're hired to do the job. Go do it. I'm sure that you are still going to see a couple guys who, yeah, I can do multiple things. I'm sure you'll see, like, I don't know, hypothetically, like William Sanders, who is out for the whole spring. Like, hypothetically, he doesn't win a starting job. I'm sure he's the first guy up at either of the guard positions, right? But I don't know. I don't know how much to read into that statement. I think it's an interesting idea, but don't have much. Joe?
Well, I think it focuses in the player's development. Like, obviously, you weren't swapping Parker and Caden Proctor around last year, but everybody else basically was musical chairs. I'm in the lineup. I'm out of the lineup. I'm playing the same position as I was yesterday. I'm playing a different position than I was yesterday. And really, the offensive line can be boiled down to last year inconsistency, which is the one word for them. Because sometimes they were good, sometimes good pass protection, and that was a good run blocking set. But other times they were absolutely horrific. A lot of times it was it's 1st and 10. This is probably not going to be a good run play. It's going to be a 1-yard gain or loss, and highly frustrating. So I think inconsistency was the theme of the offensive line last year, and the first way to knock out inconsistency is to approach the preparation with consistent. If you're preparing at a different position every day, or if you're playing 4, 2, 3, 4 positions in a practice, in any given practice, golly, that's got to be somewhat complicating. I mean, I think it's okay to shuffle guys in and out of the lineup. That's fine to me. But you need to be shuffling Billy in and out from first team left tackle, second team left tackle, third team left tackle, fourth team left tackle, so that Billy gets feel with Charlie at his on his right, and Mark on his right, and Sam on his right. Like, get different feels of guys on your right. But buddy, Billy, you're playing left tackle. You're playing left tackle for all of spring. How good can you be at left tackle? We'll figure out if you can play with Charlie or Mike or whoever at left guard, right on your right. But your focus is left tackle, and you can gain chemistry with your partner. We'll see who gain chemistry with the best, and we'll make our determination, because we're seeing you play hypothetically the same position each and every day in spring.
Yeah, I've no problem with what you just outlined.
Yeah.
Because I still think that we're at a point where you put a guy in a position in the spring, and then you realize, like, okay, wait a minute, we're not perfect here. We need to make an adjustment. Or, actually, we've watched this guy and we think that maybe we should move him somewhere else. Like, I think you still will be shuffling a little bit, but I like the idea of, okay, in general, we want this set in stone.
Exactly. I do think there's going to be small tweaks. It'll be week to week kind of tweaks, not day to day and practice rep to practice rep. And hey, you were a guard the last rep, you're going back in to tackle. No, I think it's going to be, you got a couple days at guard. We want to see you there, and if you do good, great. If you don't, we'll reevaluate. Maybe we tinker you around, but we want to get you in a spot.
I like that.
So not so much from the press conference yesterday. You can see it on BamaCentral's YouTube channel. I do think those were the 3 biggest things: the position versatility along the defensive front that Theo mentioned, the quarterback comment light years ahead of where they were last year, and some kind of minor enlightening comments on the offensive line as well. We will not have any football on the BamaCentral YouTube channel the rest of the day. Tomorrow, we will be having a lot of football with practice viewing, and we will end up with Ryan Grubb, and we'll end up at least with Ryan Coleman Williams. But there's going to be there's going to be a handful of offensive players. But I did hear that Ryan Coleman Williams was on the list for tomorrow, so that you will see 3 to 5 different Alabama football players, little press conferences on our YouTube channel as well. We'll find out what was his motivation, changing the jersey number and name and all that stuff. So that'll be the easiest article of the day tomorrow. I'm probably going to go ahead and write it today and just plug in his quotes tomorrow, so that I can have a layup at the tomorrow morning. Let's transition, Theo. let's transition into basketball because it's a great day. It's March 11th. It's a great day. The SEC tournament starts in 2.5 hours, 11:30. You'll be able to see LSU and Kentucky. When you're listening to this, you probably that game will probably be going and or be over. You got a huge slate of college basketball, but really we'll focus on the SEC right here. SEC tournament 11:30, as we said. LSU, Kentucky, SEC Network. 2:00. Mississippi State and Auburn, 6 o'clock, Ole Miss and Texas, and 8:30, South Carolina and Oklahoma. This might be a great night it's Wednesday, take the family to church, take everybody to church, or take the family out on a excursion, take the wife out on a date, take the partner out on a date, because the rest of the weekend you're going to be watching basketball in the nighttime, and you can pass up this South Carolina-Oklahoma game to do that. Hey, honey, let's go out tonight. The next few nights I'm watching basketball. Yeah. Huge day in Nashville. But before we get into it, we should start with the bad news yesterday on the basketball front.
Yeah, that's fair.
Alabama basketball misses out on 5-star guard Caleb Holt. Caleb Holt announced his commitment to the Arizona Wildcats yesterday. And I think it was you, but there's definitely been people on the show saying, I don't think we're getting Caleb Holt. And I don't guess I ever believed that Alabama was going to get Caleb Holt because of the money factor. But I was just maybe hopeful. But no, Alabama did not get it, and did not get Caleb Holt. And to me, it lasted 5 minutes in my heart, 3 minutes in my brain. It was not like, oh, well, you would have liked that. No, okay, we're moving on. But I got out of the football availability, and it lasted a lot longer on the social media machines. Oh, fire Greg Byrne. Oh, NATO should leave Alabama. Oh, why are we're not so take money away from the football team to pay for. And I'm just like, you fools. The overreaction was extreme yesterday, getting on to Greg Byrne for funding for the basketball program, basically saying, well, I wouldn't blame Nate Oates if he did leave, and all kinds of just negativity on the internet sphere after Alabama missed out on Caleb Holt. I think almost all of it was just overreaction, gut feelings, just hooey without real thought put behind it.
Someone agree, someone disagree.
Sure, go ahead.
First of all, you already have 3 very talented freshmen. And you just added one in Jackson Richardson that really came as a complete surprise to most people, myself included, who is a top 25 player in the class. Caleb Holt is the kind of guy you want to bring in. He is going to be a stud. He is going to be a freshman All-American next season if I had to bet. He's going to be a top probably 5 pick in the NBA draft if I had to bet. He's a great basketball player. Being from Alabama, you want to bring him in. We're not sugarcoating that by trying to say, oh, well, look, Alabama already brought in a solid class. But you have to make some very, very big decisions about where you allocate your money. And when we are in a world where me and Joe sat down about a month and a half ago and talked about, oh man, Alabama football has to play Moneyball, has to be incredibly smart about the decisions that they make. The football team. When you have a 12-person basketball roster, it gets even crazier, right? Caleb Holt, bringing him in, you're bringing in maybe one of the other guys, and it's not Jackson Richardson. It's probably Samuels, and that you got a 2-person freshman class. And then you're still fighting to pay all the other guys on your roster. Alabama has managed to bring in 3 very good freshmen, 1 elite freshman. You are going to have to pay 7 figures to Holloway and Sherrill if you want to keep them. They're going to be 7-figure players. You've got the other guys on the roster, like, I don't know, like Davian Hannah's going to have not a big cost, but a little bit, right? Everyone
London Jemison
is a little bit. London Jemison is going to be the big guy. London Jemison very well could become a 7-figure player. Jaleel Bethea is going to be in the mid six figures as far as, well, this guy was a really good recruit. I'm a school and I've missed on some other guys. I'm going to offer Jaleel Bethea some money. And, he's learned from Nate Oates. He'll probably be a good offensive player. Like, that's the logic that all these other schools are applying. That's what Alabama's competing with. So don't go out and say that Alabama isn't trying to pay basketball players. Like, we're putting out a solid product as far as the talent that is being retained. And I just don't think that getting Caleb Holt made a ton of sense with the price tag that was attached. With that being said, it is an underwhelming amount of money being put into basketball. It is look, Alabama basketball is in a really, really, really special place. You're making national headlines. You have a coach that I don't think anybody would try to tell you Nate Oates is not a top 10 coach in the country right now. I mean, they'll critique the things he does. They'll talk about some of the examples of, oh man, like this is wrong. This guy's not an ethical coach. That's all the stuff that, every big time coach has those allegations, right? Of Calipari and Pitino and the way that everyone gets talked about. Everyone turns a blind eye to it as soon as they're doing it for your team. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Nate Oates is a fantastic basketball coach. And he's with a program that does not have the resources other big-time schools do. And that doesn't have the fan support either. We've talked about it with Coleman Coliseum being partially empty and not being able to fill out a student section. And, Kentucky could have landed Nate Oates 2 years ago. It was a realistic, coming into it. Man, Kentucky could pull this off. And if the Wildcats could rewind right now, in a heartbeat, they would pay Nate Oates. They would have emptied the bank account for him. Other schools are going to make those offers, right? And Alabama now they're going to have to continue to give Nate Oates extensions. His buyout has shrunk significantly this year. He is, I believe we will see an extension worked out in the next couple weeks with him to get that buyout up. But just looking at it overall, it is not a program that has the fan support or the money to be nationally relevant every year without a guy like Nate Oates running the program. Now, where the, debate comes in is, well, what do? Can you possibly take some of the money away from football to support this basketball program? And that's where we've seen such a debate. And Joe, you're very strongly shaking your head. So I guess just dispel the logic for us.
Well, you can't. It's absurd because look at the finances. Go back 3-4 weeks ago when we talked about which programs are making money and who's supporting the athletic department and who the football team is funding everyone. The football team is funding everyone. And you already know how passionate, I don't want to say fickle, but passionate the Alabama fan is. And when the Alabama fan, when you lose football games, it's, well, these guys suck. Fire the coach, fire them all. I'm not going to Bryant-Denny Stadium. You've got to keep football good. You've got to keep football operating at a high level because they are the ones who fund everything else. Mm-hmm. Everything. Like the discourse that happened online yesterday was a fundamental lack of understanding of how big the pie actually is and what the pie actually feeds. Like you want to give money to football, you want to give money to basketball. Like you wanted Caleb Holt. Well, you wanted Caleb Holt. Yes. Okay. Just like you wanted bleeping AJ DeBanza last year. Like, this makes me infuriated. You wanted AJ DeBanza last year. You were in on AJ DeBanza last year. You're a top 3 finalist on DeBanza last year. I'm now going to Alabama, BYU, or North Carolina, right? And I'm teasing all 3 schools and whatever. That's a different discussion. But AJ DeBanza is making more money than every dadgum player on Alabama's basketball roster outside of Phylon combined. You take Phylon out of the roster, and you take the the money that's getting paid to the other 12 players, 11, 12, 13 players. The other 12 players, and DeBance is making more than all of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, of course you wanted to advance it, but you were never going to be playing that game. Just like this would get with Caleb Holt. Like, you're very unlike, you outlined it very, very well with the freshmen that you're already bringing in and the money that you're having to commit to the roster to retain Aiden Sherrill and Aiden Holloway. Don't you want to see Junior Sherrill and Senior Holloway? Yeah, I want to see Junior Sherrill and Senior Holloway.
I really want to see Senior Holloway.
Right, exactly. And okay, you talk about one and dones and can't identify with the team and transferees out and people transferring. I don't like college sports anymore because I don't know the teams. Well, Sherrill might be a player who's here for 3 years and might be a player who's here for 4 years. If you get Holloway back next year, that's a third year in the program. These are players that you know. So you look at the Nate Oates' kind of philosophy over the last handful of years, and it's been to reward the guys who develop in the program. Phylon got a bag to return this year. Now, it was a smart decision by LeBaron because he probably wasn't going to get drafted where he wanted to, and he comes back. But Phylon made some daggum money to come on back, and that's fine because so far I think he's been worth it. So far I think he's given everything that he can so far this season. And so you look at the basketball and you want Caleb Holt, but then you also want Alabama in the transfer portal to go get a left tackle. You want Alabama. We got to replace Caden Proctor. We got to get a left tackle. Well, they end up getting like 3 left tackles because they don't know if any of them is going to be any good. You say, oh, I want Alabama to go get a defensive lineman. I want to go get butt kickers. I want to go get a really solid wide receiver to replace Isaiah Horton. And so like you end up doing it in Noah Rogers. Like, it's one, the pie is only so big and it only feeds so much. And what needs to be fed is the program that feeds everybody else.
Right. Like how much, let's say, all right, I'll give you 2 examples here. First of all, BYU football was a very good team last year. Where would they have been if they didn't pay AJ $5 million? And if their booster said, you know what, take this $5 million that we're going to give this really big time basketball player, go buy us some more football players. And then, by putting money into football, you raise from oh man, we just missed the college football playoffs. Who knows where you end up? I think the bigger thing, though, the bigger take on this is Alabama. You start diverting money away from football. What happens to that $64 million? Like, you have the entire ecosystem that is Alabama athletics, the University of Alabama as a whole, and the Tuscaloosa community as a whole. And it is all standing on the pillar that is Alabama football. So if we start removing pieces from the football organization's backing and putting it on top of these other, it becomes like a Jenga board, right?
It's an extremely...
You start pulling pieces out and it gets thinner and thinner. And, well, football is starting to get non-competitive. Like, I don't think anyone making this take realizes how desperately football is already fighting to stay at this level.
Mm-hmm.
You guys saw it with losing players in the portal, and well, we thought we had a running back, and then Texas swooped in, and just how much Alabama is fighting with these big money schools. If you take anything away, it gets exponentially harder. And if football as a program starts to decline, if the University of Alabama's football brand starts to mean anything less than it does right now, that $64 million, we're going down. Mm-hmm. And if that number goes down, all of a sudden you don't have the resources to put anything into basketball. Then that $9 million that you're making from basketball, that becomes, well, now we need to spend.
I remember times when men's basketball was barely breaking even.
Yeah. Like it is, everything is entirely reliant on football being the powerhouse that it is. And I alluded to with the Tuscaloosa thing. You guys realize, like, all these restaurants and hotels and bars are staying open because of 7 days in the fall,
Right.
7 weekends in the fall.
And the enrollment at the University of Alabama, just look at the enrollment analytics of the out-of-state population and how much that people say, "Oh, I don't go to football or I don't go to school for football."
Yes.
But people do. People do, and the enrollment
Yeah.
exploded under Nick Saban, and it's very important for the enrollment to continue to stay high.
I'm not here at this university right now if it isn't for these scholarships that were created because of the football team's success. And there aren't all these people from the North, which I know a lot of people don't like us coming down, right? I know that's a point of contention, but the economic impact is undeniable, right? Both for the university and for the area. And I don't even think words can quantify in this little segment just how vast the impact is on everything. You can't take a single penny away from football. The university is going to do everything it can to get more money into football. Like, I'm sorry. I love college basketball. It's my favorite sport in the world. It will never in any way compare to what football does. I would be willing to, the economic impact on your one bye game at the start of the year is probably greater than every basketball game combined.
Yeah, probably so. Walt Maddox said a few years ago when COVID was kind of going on, that each home football weekend is about $20 million of revenue for the city.
Insane.
Yeah. So take a deep breath. We all would have loved to have Caleb Holt, absolutely, and honestly, I wish him well at Arizona. But NATO it knows what he's been operating under for the last handful of years, and I believe that the basketball program. I believe Greg Byrne is turning over every rock he can to raise money. Get out of here with any. Get rid of Greg Byrne not supporting Nate Oates. I think those fellows are in pretty good lockstep with one another, based on just far outside knowledge. I think they're in pretty good lockstep with each other.
You do seriously have to extend them.
Oh,
Very
yes,
badly.
yeah, oh yeah.
That's where any money goes, right now.
That's fair, and that's correct. And I think you will see that. Was it? It was right before the final, right before the SEC semifinal a couple years ago that he got his last extension. So it should be coming up pretty soon to ensure that everything is hunky-dory going forward. So we'll take a deep breath and let's get into these Wednesday games. It's Wednesday night sadness. It's Wednesday night sadness in the SEC tournament because these teams are bad.
But, it's Wednesday night sadness. But you got to look at this and you're like, you know what? It's fun to watch. It's like, man, I look at this field and I see like just an upstart, young, hungry program like Kentucky. Like, oh, can the underdogs in Lexington go on a run? That's why these Wednesday games are so special for those lower level SEC programs,
Watching the flame of their season extinguished tonight in Bridgestone Arena. This is from my friend Hunter Johnson at Burner L. Johnson. Total Wednesday night sadness appearances: Vanderbilt 8, Georgia and South Carolina with 7, Auburn, Mississippi State both with 6, Ole Miss and Missouri with 5, LSU with 4, Texas A&M and Arkansas 3 times. Texas with 2, Texas and Oklahoma with 2, so each of their last 2 years. Welcome to the SEC. Kentucky and Tennessee with 1. Kentucky has their first Wednesday night sadness appearance today. Alabama and Florida have both never played on a Wednesday.
Now, it used to be 11 through 14, right?
Correct.
Who played on the Wednesday. Yeah.
Right. So pretty good. Little fun little tidbit right there. But again, it starts today at 11:30. How you feeling? LSU, Kentucky. Kentucky rolls them, right? Mo Diabate.
There's no way they don't roll them, right? This LSU team has competed.
They're terrible.
They just went to triple overtime with A&M. They've taken teams down to the wire. No
killer instinct.
No killer instincts, but Kentucky also doesn't have a killer instinct. That's why, Otega Owe goes from the favorite for preseason player of the year to on that. He made the second team. He had a solid season, but yeah, and that's this whole Kentucky team. That's its problem. It's like the talent is undeniable. You can make critiques of Mark Pope's coaching. You can make critiques of the players not rising to the standard that the program has set. LSU is not good enough to beat Kentucky, but they're certainly good enough to make Kentucky really, really struggle. And they're certainly good enough to tire Kentucky out, enough to ensure that Florida does absolutely roll them on Thursday.
I'm here for it. 3 minutes left in the game, and Kentucky's down by 1. I'm
Yeah.
here just to see the sights in the crowd, the people with the surrender cobras, the people sweating, the people praying. I'm here for that. Ken Palm has Kentucky winning 80-74. I think they'll win, but they're a 7.5 point favorite. I think they'll win, but I will go with an LSU cover.
I'll go Kentucky by like 9. I think it's competitive. I think 3 minutes left. Or I think the under 4 break, it's like, oh man, LSU's right in this thing. Yeah, I'll go Kentucky by 9.
There you go, Kentucky by 9. The session rolls on. 2:00 game is Mississippi State is taking on Auburn. Auburn is a 7.5 point favorite. I'm going to go ahead and call my shot. I think State beats them. I think State upsets them. I think that Auburn looks, and maybe I'm just recency bias, but I think they look like a lifeless program that has no fight and no heart and no will, and I think Mississippi State beats them today.
Yeah, the problem is Mississippi State has also been a lifeless program all year, and Josh Hubbard is the only one doing anything there, and just an underwhelming year for a program that really was trending in the right direction. I mean, probably just the matchup of disappointment and regret in this year's field, right? Two teams that, really are going to look back on these seasons with great anger in about 5 years. Already are very upset, but I think Auburn gets it done just because, we've seen this Mississippi State team play some atrocious basketball. We've, first of all, seen Josh Hubbard go out and have superhuman performances and the team not be able to support him. And then we've seen Hubbard have his struggles, right? You go into a game like the one in Tuscaloosa where just nothing's working. I think Auburn is just, the talent is too much, and the rosters are both playing so bad that Auburn does get it done.
Well, it'll be fun to see. Okay, third game of the session is at 6:00. SEC Network. All these games are on SEC Network, and it's Texas and Ole Miss. And this is the game that's important to you, the Alabama fan, because this is the branch of the bracket that's coming to Alabama. I think that Ole Miss is terrible. I think they're absolutely atrocious, and Texas will win. Ken Palm has them winning by 79-73, so a closer game. The people in Vegas have Texas as a 6.5 point favorite. You taking the Longhorns?
I'd hammer the Longhorns there. I think Texas deserves to be dropped from the field if they lose this game.
Sure.
The Longhorns are, what are they on, like the 9 line right now? I think you have a little bit of buffer between you and the bubble. Also, this is the worst bubble we have seen in about 3 years. That's not an over exaggeration. I've looked at the numbers and stuff. Like, it is bad, man. It is in horrible shape. And Stanford just lost a few nights ago in an atrocious game that knocks them out of the tournament. So Texas is probably in good shape.
There we go.
Losing Ole Miss would really make you sweat.
Last game of the night, after dinner, you're trying to wind down and go to sleep. This game will put you to sleep. 8:30, South Carolina and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a 7.5 point favorite. The Lord Kenny Pomeroy has Oklahoma winning 78-72. I could not care less about this game. I think both these teams are horrific. But I guess I'll side with our boy Darian Reed.
Yeah, it's hard to think that.
And Mo Wagi.
Yeah, 2 of those guys. It's hard to think that Alabama almost lost on a buzzer beater 3 to Oklahoma, right? This team is just not all that good. I don't know if it's a bad coaching job by Porter Moser. I don't know if it's a roster that's just underwhelmed. I haven't followed them super closely this year, but I'll go out on a limb and say, you know what? The South Carolina team that's played some fun basketball that, the university has absolutely nothing going for them as baseball loses to the Citadel last night. And everything is, in flames across every sport for that university right now. You get one win to feel a little better about yourself.
There we go. So that's what's going to be on tap in the SEC tournament. I hope you enjoy it today on SEC Network. We're always going to be looking at that Ole Miss-Texas game tonight to see who might be taking on Georgia on Thursday. And, of course, Alabama taking on the winner on Friday. Theo, before we get out of here, why don't you give us 1 minute on the baseball team last night?
Just a boring game, if we're being frank. Alabama, 7 runs off 5 hits. You got hit 5 times. These teams love throwing right at Alabama. They plunked the first 2 batters of the game. Just a Troy team that is really, really underwhelmed, sitting at 6-10 with a talented roster. A team that, likes to be in the regional and expects to be in the regional year in and year out. Does not look like this will be one of those years. Things could turn around in conference play, but you've just lost to some bad teams. Alabama, solid things from all the guys in the bullpen. I mean, Hagen-Banks comes in, gets the save after walking a batter. He will be, I think, this game kind of sets in stone that he's the primary closer this year. You see, man, he's got such a cool entrance there. You bring him in the ninth in the night game, the lights are flickering, Johnny Cash is on with Godson and Cut You Down, and it's a fun walk-up, man. And it'll be an electrifying atmosphere if he can get into a rhythm and earn a couple saves, and he'll have his first opportunities this weekend in Lexington. I think the other takeaway is like Jason Torres, man. He is legit this year. He is leading the team with the 21 RBI now. Hit a homer, hit a sac fly. Like he is getting things done. He's not a liability anymore defensively in third. You almost wonder if, you got him batting 6th. He could warrant batting cleanup right now. Now you kind of like to spread your talent throughout the roster, right? I don't know. Torres to me feels like, we might have to get this guy a little higher up. You want him batting after the guys in Justin LeBron and Brady Neal who get on base so much, and Fowler too, and even Brennan Holt, the 9-hole batter, has an on base of around 430. That's impressive, man. That is like, you're setting up so well for the top of the lineup by getting on and by always being able to lay down the perfect squeeze. It was, I don't know, you didn't learn much. It was a pretty boring game overall, but I think that it's time to see what Hagen-Banks can do. It's time to see. All right, Jason, you really, really, really slumped and struggled in SEC play last year. Have we moved past that? Are we going to continue hitting at this level? I'm cautiously optimistic about this weekend in Lexington. I'm going to think about it a little more. I'm writing a piece for Thursday about the adjustment to SEC play, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about, this team. I think my outlook on the team has definitely dropped pretty heavily since the start of the season. But hey, SEC play is a fresh start, and we'll see how things go.
There we go. So Alabama baseball will be in Lexington this weekend. We'll talk about it later in the week. We're going to get out of here for the day. We're going to go talk to Nate Oates at 12:30. Tomorrow, we will have an odd show. It will be in Coleman Coliseum media room, in Coleman Coliseum. It will be after Alabama's media viewing period, before we talk to Ryan Grubb and an offensive player. So tomorrow will be very football focused as well. We'll talk a little basketball, and we'll have a lot of fun the rest of the week because it's a huge week on BamaCentral. Thanks so much for everybody following us on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. Thanks for listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Red Circle, BUBBL, wherever you like your podcast, you can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the program. Call them at 877-787-6635. Visit them online. Easy to see all their products and services online at roofturtle.com. So let's get out of here for the day. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.